Hello, challengers. This is the Poke League. Today we are going to be discussing Pokemon Sun and Moon, everything we know so far, and just some of the things that we would like to see change. You know, some of the things that we're excited about, some of the things we're not so excited about. Just a bunch of this and that about it. So first off, I would like to mention the three starters again. I'm pretty sure everybody knows them by this point. But the three starters in the Alola region are Hoplo, Litten, and Rowlet. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those, but personally, it's a made up word. Just pronounce it how you want to.
Yep. And, we also know that, as evidenced by the trailer, there's going to be new forms of some Pokemon. There's going to be the Battle Royale. And, we haven't really discussed all this in detail. If you guys want us to do an episode on, discussing everything that's in the trailers, let us know down in the comments, and we will attempt to do that. It may be a multi-part thing.
We will be mentioning some of the more important things in the trailers, some of the stuff that really stuck out to us. But mostly it's just going to be, what we know so far, what we like about the Sun and Moon, what we don't like, just some of the things we like to see in either Sun and Moon or possibly future games.
Yeah, so with that, I say we get started with this discussion by what would you like to see? What would be one thing that you would like to see or that you think they're going to do with Sun and Moon?
Well, personally, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon games is Gold, Silver, Crystal, because you can go back to the previous region. So I think it would be cool if they did indeed remove the gym leaders from Sun and Moon, to be able to go back to the Kalos region and battle those gyms and do a whole side mission there, kind of like you could in Gold, Silver, Crystal, with putting it into Team Rocket once and for all. I think that would be a nice twist on something that nobody's expecting, but knowing Game Freak, they're probably not going to do that. Do you have anything else to add about that? What would you like to see that?
I'd like to see that. I think it would be cool. Personally, though, I don't think they've actually removed the gyms from the game, because there's no evidence as to point that they have. Yes, the island trials are there, but I think those are just more for if you can beat the...
Well, here's what I think he's trying to say. Me and him were discussing this when he was on his break at work. He called home, and I was off, and Mom wasn't there, so me and him were discussing that while he was on break at work. And I think that the island trial, and I brought this up actually, the island trials are just there to prove you're ready for the next prove you're ready for the next island. Here's what I mean. Melee Island is the first island you start off in. And we already know the Kahuna and the island trial is the electric and, Tapu Koko and, whatnot. But what if, instead of that being the island trial replacing the gyms, what about if the island trial is just there to prove you're ready to go on to the next island? Like, if you can beat, kind of like in Paper Mario, if you can, there's a dojo. If you've ever played Paper Mario for the N64, there's a dojo. And if you can beat one person at the dojo, you move on to a stronger person in the dojo, and it just keeps on going up and up. I think it's kind of like that, where if you can beat the leader of Melee Island, then you can move on to the next island, then the next, and the next to prove you are ready, while beating the gym and the Elite Four to go on your way, to make the game a little more longer and to give it more of a different approach. Because I've seen a lot of people discussing, well, they removed the gyms. What's your proof?
Yeah, there's no evidence that they've removed the gyms unless they flat out in the next trailer come out and say that we did remove the gyms. There's no evidence to point that they actually removed the gyms.
Now, that being said, there's no evidence to prove they didn't either.
Exactly.
That's just something I thought up of because I was looking on the website, and it said, the island trials are there to prove you're ready to move on to the next island. I was like, wait a minute, so these didn't replace the gyms? And then, that's when I got to thinking, maybe they didn't. Maybe it's just there to prove that you're ready to go to the next island.
Which all may be revealed when the game is released, because, we're now like I think 14, 15 weeks away from release.
Oh, and one more thing I want to mention. This probably should have been mentioned at the beginning, but never trust any leaks on Sun and Moon that you may find on the internet, no matter how real they look. Don't trust any leaks. Like, I know there was a leaked list that was, that was kind of put out on the internet, and people thought it was real, and, the final evolution of the starters were leaked. I hate to break it to you, but those aren't real. None of the leaks so far have been real, according to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but none of them have been real. So never trust leaks, and that's why we are not mentioning them in this discussion.
Yeah, so with like I said, 14 weeks away from Sun and Moon being released, and I personally can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a really cool game with some of the stuff we've seen in the trailers so far and some of the stuff that they have yet to reveal that I hope is in the game. Like we said at the beginning, they have the new Alolan forms for different Pokemon. I think out of the Pokemon that haven't gotten Alolan forms so far, I think the coolest one would probably be a Staryu or Starmie Alolan form.
Now, I have heard rumors. Now, this isn't now, I know I said never trust a leak, but I have heard rumors, and one of my friends and me and my brother were discussing this. Wouldn't it be cool if they had a Alolan Alolan Staryu and Starmie, Alolan Shelter and Cloyster, and then another one is Alolan Sharpedo. Because it's tropical, and tropical fish and tropical plants and all that are way different than here in the States or, Australia or UK or wherever you're from.
Yeah, well, and to that point, you could also say Carvana. Sharpedo and Carvana as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different Pokemon we feel need an Alolan form. And that is probably going to be one of the upcoming videos. We're currently just waiting a couple more weeks to see if they reveal any trailers before we actually do it. But that'll probably be, if not the next episode, then probably the one after. But rest be sure that will be a future video, unless we just forget.
And when Sun and Moon comes out, we will be doing a couple of
reviews on it.
We
decided one should be spoiler, in case you don't really care about spoilers, and then one will be spoiler free. The spoiler review will go a lot more in detail, but will obviously contain, spoilers. And the spoiler free review will go into less detail, but it will kind of get you a general idea of the game.
Yeah. So that will be something that we do probably mid to late December. Maybe early into 2017, because we want to get a good feel of the game before we give a review of it, because, we want to give it a fair trial.
Yeah, we just don't want to play the game 5 minutes and instantly do a review. We want to, get a good feel of the game, get mid to middle game, maybe even beat the game, and then do a complete review on it.
So that's something to look forward to after Sun and Moons came out. About a month or maybe a month and a half after that came out, we'll do the review on that.
We are hoping to get that review out before Christmas. That way, if anybody wants to see if they want to buy it for their child or not, then they can do that. But, yeah. So, anything else you want to add?
Nope. What else would you like to see in Sun and Moon that hasn't been revealed yet?
One thing I would personally love in Sun and Moon is, kind of like a Battle Frontier type of system. I know you're not a huge fan of the Battle Frontier or the Battle Mansion or any of that.
No, I just find it kind of repetitive to go in and battle people over and over and over again to earn points to get items. I really didn't find it appealing to me, but I mean, some people do find it appealing. I personally don't. That's my opinion.
I personally, in Pokemon Emerald, when it first came out, I was young, so I really didn't get, what the appeal was. But now I just recently played Auras, and recently beat the Battle Mansion, and I figured out, how fun it actually is. So I would like to see them, expanding on that to make a whole entire Battle Frontier system again. I would personally love it.
So, for me personally, I really can't think of nothing else that I would want to see. Obviously you have the gyms and stuff like that that we believe they haven't done. But really, I don't think there's anything else. I can't really think of anything else right off the top of my head. For
Well, another thing that I would like to see them do in a future Pokemon game, or this one, is just get rid of TMs altogether. Just completely scrap them. Because TMs, they're not good in combat. They're pretty much useless outside of combat. I mean, yeah, there's a couple instances where you have to use Surf, or a couple instances where you have to use Cut, but other than that, they're just pretty much there. They're useless. And the last thing is that they just take up places for better moves. Like if you have three HMs and a move you really want to keep on a Pokemon, then there's another move that levels up and you can't really get it. You can't delete it if you're not the part where the move deleter is yet, and then you have to go around hunting for a heart scale.
Well, and to that point, I say that they should make the TMs, make the HMs like Surf, Fly, Cut, all of those into TMs themselves. Keep the TMs, but because there are some instances where you may not want to go to the move relearner and have to pay, obviously a heart scale to relearn a move that you've deleted. When you have it in your pack, you can just boot it up and have the Pokemon learn it.
One thing that I'd like to see them do is kind of like the Eon Sleuth thing, where and I think they are going to get rid of the TMs based on the trailer where you can now ride Pokemon. I saw you could fly around on a Charizard, you could ride around on a Sharpedo. There was I think there was a place where you could rock climb with a Stoutland, but I wasn't 100% sure on that. But that's really one thing that I think they're going to do is try to get rid of most, if not all, the TMs by having kind of like an Eon Sleuth type of thing where you can ride around on a certain Pokemon and where a certain situation will call for it.
So,
going back to the Alolan forms for a second, what's your favorite current Alolan form that they released?
I like Sandshrew and Sandslash.
I would have to agree. Either Sandshrew and Sandslash or Meowth would probably be my favorite. My least favorite they released so far is currently a tie between Alolan Ninetales and Alolan Executor. And in Alolan Ninetales, I've never really been a huge fan of Ninetales. I mean, it's an okay Pokemon. If, I'll use it, but it's not really, up there in my top tier. And Alolan Executor is just based on design. The design, I don't know why, but it just triggers me. I do not know why. I hate it.
So, what else can you think of? Or is that about all you can think of for discussion-wise for it?
What would you feel about, how do you feel about them being, how about, God, what was I thinking of? Being able to customize your trainers, I think they said was being able to be done.
Yeah, at the beginning, at the first trailer that they showed you, you can customize your trainer a little bit at the beginning of the game. Then I guess they kind of put a stop to the talk at the Treehouse Live when they start talking about it. Masuda and all of them put a complete stop to it because they didn't want to really reveal much more in depth about how much you can go in. So I'm saying maybe you can customize your trainers, full appearance.
I'm saying it could be done more than Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
Not Sun
X
and Moon,
Y.
X and Y. Sorry, I'm getting my games mixed up. With 7 generations of Pokemon, you're bound to get your games mixed up eventually.
So, yeah, I think that they're going to be doing more with that, more customization options, more...
How do you feel about being able to customize your trainer? Because I know when you played X and Y to try to get back into Pokemon, you weren't really a huge fan of being able to customize your trainer that much.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, I really was brought up on the red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal generation. And in those, you were stuck with the default trainer, so it took me a little bit of time to get used to the ability to customize your trainer. Now, for me, it really wasn't for me because, I figure I stick with one thing pretty much throughout the game anyway. I don't really customize in any games I do. If there's customization features available, I'll take a look at it. but I may not do it. I may just customize it once and stick with that character. I may not go back and re-customize every single day or every other day.
Yeah, he is really based on however it is what it is. He is not one for customizing characters. I think the only time I've kind of seen him customize a character is in Elder Scrolls. And even then, he did barely any customization in that. So he is really not one for customizing. Unlike me, I am full out, I'll go back and customize every day or every other day or possibly every hour. Just because I have ADHD and, just can't decide on anything.
So, yeah, I
can't really think of anything else that I would like to see in Sun and Moon. I think they put a stop to everything else. The Z moves.
Yeah, the Z moves, in case you haven't seen the trailer with them yet, are moves that Pokemon can use that are more powerful than their base moves, and
you can only use them once per battle, and they are based on the first type. So, for instance, take the mascot Pikachu. Pikachu is an electric type, so the Z move it would have would be electric. Sharpedo is a water type, so it'll have the water Z move. So it'll be based on the first type of the Pokemon. Low-end Ninetales and the low-end Sandslash are ice, so they will have the ice type Z move. And I really personally am excited for it.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait to see what they do with it. I'm not sure, I hope you get access to it maybe a little bit later in the game, about halfway through, because I really feel like if you got access to it like right away, because some of the moves they showed the starters doing it, and we all know the starters usually evolve at level 15, 16, which is pretty early in the game. So if you get access to it really early,
it'll be kind of overpowered.
You can probably overkill a lot of trainers with that.
It would be kind of like why not many people like to use Mega Forms early in game, because it's just way too overpowered. Like in X and Y, you get it like near the beginning of the game, and you get a Lucario at that, and it's like super overpowered for its level. Like my starter was like level 19, and this Lucario was level 25, and it was like it's way overpowered. And like this Lucario could just sweep every single gym leader if you train it right.
Yeah. So
And same thing with Auras, you got it way too early. So I hope you get the Z moves middle to late game.
Yeah, it would kind of suck to wait that long for something like that, but I really think it would be worth it, because I think you just need to earn
that
type of power to be able to unleash that move once per battle.
Speaking of Mega Evolution, do you think they're going to have a system for Mega Evolution, or do you think they're going to scrap that idea?
I don't think they're going to scrap the idea. I think they're going to scrap it for this particular region.
That's what I was thinking.
I think it may make a return in the next generation. I think the Alolan forms and the Z moves are to make up for the lack of Mega Evolutions.
So here's why we think that. Because Hawaii is totally different from, US or UK. They have a lot of different traditions, so they might not like the fact of Mega Evolution. So people in Alola might not like the fact that of the Mega Evolution and go with something more powerful, which would be Z moves, and this might only be something particular to this region. Kind of like I think the Eon Flute was particular only to Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Yep. So
I can't think of anything else, can you?
No, I think that's about it for this discussion. So let us know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Let us know, like I said at the beginning, if you want us to do episodes dedicated to the different trailers and breaking them down, and what each of them entailed and what we think about each one, then let us know.
How we will probably do that is we will watch the trailer off camera. We will watch the trailer, and then we will record a trailer. Then we record our reactions to that trailer, and it'll only be one trailer at a time to keep it, a little more spaced out.
Yeah. So let us know if you guys want to see that in the comments below. Let us know what you guys would like to see in Sun and Moon as well. What, we've talked about what we would like to see and what we think they've done. Pick a topic that we talked about and let us know down in the comments what your opinion on that particular topic is.
And let me know, what do you think about us saying that we don't think they removed the gym leaders? Because I am really curious to see your guys' reactions to what we said.
But that will do it for this episode. Remember to follow us on our social medias so you can stay up to date with our latest videos and stuff like that. Subscribe if you're new. Like this video.
We only have a Twitter and Facebook, so links will be down into the description, and any sources we may have used will also be down in the description as well.
So, like we said, that'll do it. Until next time, you've challenged the Poké League. Later.